Hi guys, welcome to today's video. October is finally over, which means I get to share with you all the illustrations I made over this Spooktober challenge. For those of you who don't know what a Spooktober is, every year I challenge myself through the month of October to create a spooky and fun children's book illustration every day using a new material or techniques that I want to improve on. This year, I also decided to include a limited color palette. So I'm glad that you're here and that I get to share all these illustrations with you. And I get to tell you what went well, what I struggled with, and what I think I can improve on for next year. Also, yesterday was Halloween and we got a lot of trick-or-treaters that came to our house. So I will show you some clips that I was able to record last night. I also recorded a time-lapse of a children's book illustration that I made to wish every kid a happy Halloween last night. So stay tuned to the end so you can see the final result. Alright guys, let's dive in. So to begin, I visited an art store to gather all my art supplies that I would need for this art challenge. I also visited a bookstore to get a reward for me for finishing the art challenge. I decided to go with a manga that I have heard a lot of, and it also goes with the Halloween theme for the challenge. For my sketchbook, I decided to go with the Strathmore Mixed Media Sketchbook. I also made these cards to attach to the front of the sketchbook, mainly to keep track of the prompt of each day. This year I decided to go with colored pencils since I have seen some children's book illustrations made with them and I like the texture and the look of them. This is the color palette I decided to go with as it has a lot of oranges and it has some earthy tone to it. I also decided to get a black, brown, gray, and white colors to create some tone, tint, and shade. I also got a new pencil sharpener. I decided to give this one a try since it looks cool and you're able to select the length of the tip of your color pencil. You can see how the opening closes when you select a different number on the dial. I got two types of erasers. One is the Faber-Castell kneaded eraser to lift the graphite once I'm done with the sketch, and a Prismacolor Magic Rub, just a regular eraser. For inking, I got a zebra brush pen that I found at a Barnes & Noble's bookstore that I haven't seen before, so I decided to give it a try. And I also got a cheap brush marker just to cover big areas. Alright, so let's get started with some actual illustrations. For starters, I wanted to show you the sketch I made for the card illustration from the beginning. I was also writing all the prompts for the month on this sketchbook. This is another illustration I created to promote the Spooktober challenge. If you want to see the final result, you can go to my Instagram profile and you can find it there on the CMartist7. I also created a new profile picture. I was debating if I should go with a pumpkin or a cat, but at the end I decided to go with the pumpkin. But I also like the cat version. Let me know in the comments which one do you prefer the most. Alrighty, so for the first day the prompt was candy. I love sour candy and I wanted in this illustration to show the faces you make while you eat them. For day number 2 we have lantern. But this one, I thought for an explorer going into a cave with a lantern. Maybe he discovered a creature in there and maybe both are surprised to find each other, but here's the final result. For day number 3, we have market. I thought about an artist alley or maybe a festival, and I thought maybe a witch has her first market and she's selling her potions along with some other goodies. And we cannot forget about her cat companion. Day number 4 was gardening. The idea for this one was of a dragon guarding a door that has a secret behind it. We don't know how long the dragon has been sitting there, but we know that whatever is behind that door must be very important. For day number 5 was a star. For this one, the idea was, what if a superstar is getting ready to go to a Halloween party with a furry puffy jacket? I like the texture I was able to create on the coat. Day number 6 prompt was monster, and I have to say this one was one of my favorite ones, mainly because of the colors on the background. I was able to create a different tones of green with a different color pencils, but only one green color. I created some tension by adding the egg Is he stealing the egg or protecting it from something? I just think it turned out great, and I got to learn a few things too. Day number 7 was broom. The idea for this one was maybe there is a young witch purchasing her first broom, and there is an older witch that is trying to make her buy this specific broom, but there is a secret behind it. What I don't like from this one is how the older witch hand ended up looking. I realized that a stronger sketch was needed. Day number 8 was glow. I really like how this one turned out, and I'm glad I decided to go with this pose from the fox. For this one, I did end up adding that neon pink color to give a little more pop. Here you can see what the original sketch was. It was supposed to be a fox laying on the ground reading a book with the glow of the mushrooms, more like a nightlight. For day number 9, we have spellbook. The idea for this one was a wizard reviewing what went wrong on his spellbook after becoming a mouse. I like how this one turned out too, but I feel like I should have added a little more potion underneath that bottle. Day number 10 was Ghost. This one is one of my least favorite ones. It feels like it was rushed, and I started to add random colors. I think this day I was tired after working my 2 jobs, so there was not enough time for planning or preparing. For day 11, we have wings. I really like the dragon I illustrated for the prompt guardian, so I wanted to create something similar. The one thing I would change from this one would be the background. I'm not very happy with the position of the clouds. For day 12, we have Potion. This one was inspired by an old cartoon show I used to watch when I was a little kid that was called Asterix and Obelix. And on that show, when the character drank the potion, they will become super strong and were able to lift heavy things. I like the colors on this one, and I also like how I made the plants with simple colors. I also think I was able to capture the pose of getting energized by the drink. Day 13 was Cauldron. This one was one of the few days that I was struggling to get them complete after coming back from job, and we also had a lot going on during that day. I remember these next couple illustrations being late at night, so the illustrations done with only ink were because I was trying to get them done fast so I didn't fall behind in the art challenge. I thought that this might happen, so that's why I included the ink on my supply list, just to have it as a backup. But I mainly wanted the illustration to be done with colored pencils. But I do like how the illustrations end up looking, and I think it also helped me planning the illustrations ahead of time at the beginning of the week. I will quickly draw the main idea on a sticky note and then build the illustration from the initial idea into the sketch. For day 15, we have the prompt friend. For this one, I wanted to recreate a past October illustration I made of these 2 friends. Day 16 was Toad. I think there was a lot of medieval theme illustrations on this challenge. I think it's just a fun observation after I finished the challenge and I was looking back at them. So the inspiration for this Toad came from the character Alan A. Dale from the Disney Robin Hood movie. If you haven't seen that movie, go watch it. It's one of my favorite movies. Day 17 was Mushroom. So for this one, I was trying to get back into the Halloween theme illustrations. So I thought maybe 2 kids getting together to go to a Halloween party, dressed alike, but one of them misunderstood what the other meant. I like how this one turned out too. Day 18 was the Spirit. This one and the Ghost prompt are my least favorite ones. I did try to learn from the previous one and I tried to make a better sketch before I began. Day 19 was Cat. I love this one. I tried to redeem myself from the previous prompt and I think it turned out good, especially the background. I was trying to think out of the box for this one since I didn't want it to draw another black cat, especially because I set up the limited color palette from the beginning. Day 20 was Mask. I feel like I was able to capture what kids normally do when they are trick-or-treating and they just lift up their masks to ask for candy or to see what type of candy they got. Day 21 was Bones. Since I already did a skeleton, I wanted to draw something different. It's just another normal day for her. And now we're on the second sketchbook. For day 22, the prompt was Key. This one is another medieval theme illustration. For this one, I like the post and the background. I like the color of the bushes and the bridge that he's standing on. I'm not really a fan of the right hand, but I was trying to find a position on where I could show all the keys that he has. The main idea was that he has multiple keys and he's unsure on what door that key opens. Day 23 was Skull. For this one, I wanted to create a continuation of the previous prompt, Friend. I wanted to show the skeleton guy losing his head and trying to find it on the ground. Day 24 is Fireflies. I think this one is one of the cutest ones. I wish I had more time to create a bigger illustration for this one. Day 25, prompt was Pumpkin. This is my favorite one of the whole challenge. The inspiration for this illustration was the Cinderella pumpkin carriage. The idea for this illustration was a little raccoon racing through the forest on his pumpkin race car. The part I like the most is his car and the background. On this one, I decided to experiment using what I learned from previous prompts using color pencils, so I started to introduce more colors. Day 26 was Wand, and this one is where I felt like I could see the finish line of the Spooktober challenge, but I had a lot going on, and I had a long hours at work, and I was just trying to finish these illustrations. Day 27 was Wizard. I was trying to think out of the box and I also incorporated some medieval elements into this illustration. I changed the original pose of the character because I think it didn't show much of the body and I think it turned out great. Day 28 was Ring, and the first thing I associated the prompt Ring was candy. And I thought, what if a little mouse got his hands on a ring pop that is bigger than him? Day 29 was Witch. I thought of a young witch at the top of a mountain, about to take her first flight on a windy day. Day 30 is Cloak. But this one, I was trying to recreate the wind effect from the previous prompt. However, I don't think it looks as good as the other one. The idea was that the cloak is alive and is giving extra powers to our character. Alright guys, here it is, the final illustration of Spooktober, day 31. And the prompt was Ride. The initial idea for this one was of a kid wearing a vampire outfit, riding a bumping car as Living October and saying, "See you next Spooktober." Turned out to be these two kids on a bumper car ride in full character. Now, this is the extra illustration I made to pass out to the kids on my neighborhood along with some candy to wish them Happy Halloween. Let me know in the comments which Spooktober illustration you like the most. And if you participated in our challenge during the month of October, tell us how we can find you on the web so we can encourage each other, and I would like to see your artwork. And if you have never participated in one, make sure you follow me in social media so I can tell you what the next art challenge will be. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this Spooktober journey of 2024. I hope you enjoy the art as much as I enjoy making it. If you enjoy this content, make sure you give it a like and subscribe. This will help other people find my channel and be able to share my art with everybody else. I'll be back with more challenges and more art and hopefully more stories to share. So happy Halloween, guys.